So the WashingtonPost.com publishes in Flash, but it doesn't share its embed code at this point. What are your thoughts about that, and how might that change in the future?
Right. Yeah, I think it is very crucial to recognize that delivering of content is increasingly being atomized, for lack of a better way of saying it, and redistributed through things like RSS and, syndicatable video through Flash players like you're referring to. And I think that what the Wall Street Journal and others have figured out by utilizing code to allow for easy embedding of video and blogs, that it's beneficial to their traffic. We're intensely interested in that, and that's our next step in terms of the Bright Cove player that we're using currently to power our video technology for distribution purposes and for display purposes. We're going to be probably adding that feature to our video very shortly. Well, the whole concept of user-generated video is fascinating, and obviously YouTube has made an incredible business success out of having the foresight and the thought process to harvest and aggregate that kind of content. I think it remains a little bit to be seen where and how that might apply to, big news sites like ours or the New York Times. I respect what they're trying to do with respect to getting their wedding videos on their site. I'm interested in it. I think it has potential. We've just begun some experiments in the still photography space that look very promising, and I think video will, be following right along behind it. Generally, the most compelling user-generated video that I've seen has been around news events. For example, the cell phone video cameras that were used by people that were caught in the tube during the London bombings. That was incredibly compelling content. And I think there's always the prospect of something like that happening. Again, the user-generated cell phone video from Virginia Tech being another example. But I'm looking more for sort of video that would not necessarily be heavily news-based, but which might tell compelling stories about people in the community that would be useful. We were just awarded the Peabody Award for our work on a particular project yesterday, and it really caught my attention that one of the other video awards that was offered was to a site in Britain for Channel 4, where they were promoting and developing tools to allow for importation of user-generated content and to give people better skills to actually make that kind of video. And I think that's a very smart approach, and it's one that would be worth emulation here. There's a lot that would have to go into creating the resource base to allow that. But I think another challenge that I think is obviously there is trying to do the kind of filtration that is sufficient to protect the brand without being a turn-off to the people who'd be submitting user-generated content. I could see it applying in a lot of different spaces, things like travel, vacation experiences, social activity, that sort of thing, going to concerts or sporting events, things like that. And I think there's a lot more that can be done with it. The challenge, I think, is that given the fact that YouTube has got this enormous lead in the space in the same way that Flickr has it with still photography, the question in my mind is, do we have to insinuate ourselves as a channel within their network in order to gain traction, or can we do it alone under the flag of our brand on our site? And I think that that's the kind of question that still looms to some degree unanswered out there.